I mean, yeah. Triangle with a little exclamation in it that says your bandwidth is low. You can't do this. The camera's having a hard time. And then what happens is it crashes and resets. Starts broadcasting, crashes and resets, starts broadcasting. He just keeps doing that. And everything works. So every week, people are coming in here with their hand. And I don't know when we have stuff or virus or this kind of thing. This is scrambled. That's what we have to do. No, everything's back to No, but now on this what's happening right now is I'm trying to realize my schedule. I have a schedule. I've been running out a half hour. Then I have another schedule from 7 to 8. Unfortunately, Angel's there.
Oh, you are? Yeah. Yeah, but I'll get some resolve.
I'm just thinking about right now, you know. You're in town?
Yeah. I teach at a Native American bilingual school in the city.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Nice. Because there's something, or
yeah, well, this is school. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Indian, but I've been there for 7 years.
It's kind of like
Great community. They give me a lot of academic freedom. It's a place
now transmitting.
my mom's family was very, and she's from like Chicago area, right? When I go back and visit, like my grandma, who was from
Yeah.
I mean, she comes from an area. My mom comes from an area. So, like, I couldn't have people,
Right.
Bulgarian, Russian, Armenian,
Oh, yeah, I mean, I grew up in Muskegon, which is like 60 miles south of, yeah, my best when I was so little girl,
three-day weddings and costumes. I mean, who am I?
Yeah. Well, we had immigrants from so many different places in our neighborhood that, you know, mostly it was like the grandparents of kids my age were mostly from somewhere else. So all these old people would sit around and they'd talk in their different accents, and you'd always overhear, well, back in the old country. So when I was a little girl, I thought the old country was where old people came from.
My mom So they learned everything in college. But she spoke Croatian, and then I remember visiting my grandma and her next door neighbor was Russian, and they didn't speak English, but somehow they could like
They got it together between the different,
you know, so that's like, look it up sometimes. Especially some of there's so many similarities in all these languages, like I met some parts of, like Yugoslavia,
is that not the church?
the languages are so similar and everything.
right, those languages are related. Onegan is really strange. It's an Indo-European language, but it's the only one that's French.
There are like 3 churches on the block, and then there's 3 other churches. It used to be churches, so it's just, yeah, it's very.
You know, it has its own alphabet. Has its own alphabet. Yeah. But very well, I would say more similar to Greek Orthodox, although they will deny this.
Yeah.
But very elaborate. They did a Christmas mass at the school one year. And the priest was wearing this robe that is really includes and embroidered almost of course, the whole thing's about me. I don't understand a word of it. It's very elaborate. And all I can think is, I want that dress. I want so much better. He does. Yeah, it's really unique.
Yeah, coming to the restaurant tomorrow night.
Yeah, most of the people I know are not super religious, but they really honor it because of the importance in the
I've been memorizing it.
Yeah, that's interesting because in the Armenian church, priests can be married up to a certain age.
In our world, they're all
Logic if somebody doesn't take him out. He is so human and so liberal and so sane that I don't even know how he does it. Yeah,
I feel so like.
Oh my God! Yeah.
It's not around
Welcome to the second half of this evening's Sacred Grounds open mic.
Why was that? And she gave her historical understanding of it was not because it was like, oh, it was like.
Okay, we're getting ready to start the second half of the open mic. So can we start to settle down and get ready to hear the few poets that are left?
That was a short explanation.
Yeah, what he was actually.
Great job, you guys. That's a great.
All right, my name is Greg Pond. I'm going to be the facilitator for the second half. We're covering for Dan Brady, our esteemed facilitator and host, who is still recovering, but well on the road to recovery, and hope to see him soon, very soon. Next week, our feature will be Cesar Love, and it will be a tribute to one of our poets that we lost last year, Carlos Ramirez. So please come for that and bring your poems about Carlos and poems by Carlos. He had a book out, and I think there will be a couple copies here, so certainly feel free. Anyway, we will start off the second half. We have 4 poets, plus myself, and we're going to start off with Clara Sue. All right.
I'm going to read 2 pieces. The first one is titled, Like Cereal, Like Ceres. Too much stuff within the confinement. To the girl, limitless for the imagination. Between this breath, one cockcrow, another inferno, and the next, a net that spreads wide, catching. A moth escapes through, a worm here, a bell there, your lips. The heart, oh, the heart is weak. It flutters toward the evening light, under the hypnotic throne. Get caught on the gauze curtain. On and on it races against the train. The whistle, a warning, a wake-up call. Death means do not disturb. A vision, an invitation to dance. The next breeze, trees with their roots facing the sky, sends the moth into the garden. Long feathered leaves piercing, I glimpse a shape dancing. A crown down, earth down to home. Feathers, plumage rising from his bone mask, down into the alcove of cracked nerves. Is it true, after all, we are water? Is it you? Just plain old water, not wine, not juice. Is it you? And when we are sucked dry, is it you become clay, broken little pieces of gray stuff when scattered? The fog is driving down the hill, onto the forest floor. They whiten in a moment. All turns milky white, the surface like snow. And tomorrow's my birthday, so I'm going to read my birthday poem. Now, I wrote this poem a few years ago. My birthday is March 6th, and so I looked into the internet and found a few things that happened on March 6th. And one of the things that was either patent or created was silly putty. So, it's called silly putty. You silly putty. What would Michelangelo think if he saw you dripping through a hole and glowing in the dark? Would he rather play with you and bounce you down the street than sculpting marble? Any child would. If we forget the years and just crunch our birthdays together, me and Michelle and you would be an awesome trio, growing up terrorizing the neighborhood, playing hide and seek until Michelle slips you into David's fist. Only the Beatles have the good sense to write a song about our union. Let it be, they sing. Let us be, me, Michelle, and Silly Putty. Let us run down the bridges of Florence for a swirl of gelato. And of course, the townspeople in their old-fashioned way won't understand any of this, but will roll their eyes and cross their hearts. Thank you.
Clara. Next up, we have Tom. Odegaard.
You got it.
All right.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah. So I want to just announce that I will be featuring here on the 16th, and I thought I ought to make at least one appearance before I arrive in anticipated, just to give you a touch of me. This is I've been doing a poetry prompt once Jenny Dresser does poetry prompts or salons. I've been doing them. The prompt was, this is it's possible that while we were dreaming is first line by a Spanish poet, Antonio Machado. So we were supposed to take off from that. It's possible, while we were dreaming, America, with its formulas of founding fathers, joyous revolutions, confounded civil war, giants of industry, singing depressions and fondly painted booms and busts, it's possible that almost none of it was true. And as we dream on of democratizing numerous countries with manipulated economies, of scaled up and scaled down maquiladors, anything goes agribusiness, hardwood harvests, multi-million-dollar financial scams, deflating trading partner currencies, selling arms on credit to everyone with something to trade. Quite possibly, we've overlooked our real politic consequences. This is an attempt to write a modern poem in English, Middle English format, with more or less 4 hard feet in each line. Luda Spring against Kiev. It's often early winter when the wind, perfect wind, blows rain to wash plum blossoms off the twig and fractal pink the gravel paths with petaled flakes. Forsooth, the burgundy leaves burst out and rain shine greens the lawns, while mayhem tears Kiev apart against weird newsmen's woes. Truth is not, 5 sides lie. As many more protest and quest hyperbole and quantum leaps, we say they said, they flip us off, while cherries nod in western winds and Luda Spring comes ringing round. this one I had to, this was another prompt. Write a poem with some kind of monster and some kind of alcoholic or fermented beverage. Ye gods, the places we go, the things we see, is the title. We do not have a Yeti on our island, or an honest politician. We do not have a grizzly bear, or any sort of bobcat, puma, or mountain lion. At one time, the grizzlies may have eaten salmon on South Beach, or along our eastern shore, but that was long ago as well before. We do not have poison oak or ivy on our island, or a fair and prudent judge. We do not have large serpents hiding, or parked out forests without shrubs. Once there were Indians eating blue camas bulbs, gathering nettles in the spring, drying summer fish, before the white man's whiskey monster killed their tribal trust. The last one here is it's called The Lone Ranger Rode In on an 18-wheeler. I was lighting matches in an attempt to see why, with a full tank, my engine had run out of gas. Don't kid me, you know that mushy feel of the pedal, and that heart stop when you're in the middle of nowhere, 50 miles in every direction from parts and machines, mechanics, and your 5 and dime flashlight is as dead as a doornail. I heard the whine of the big diesel behind us, Jake's braking his rig down the Sherwood grade, and I was that startled when he pulled to a stop just behind us, blinking his brights, turning night into day. Hey there, you know those engines can burn like a torch. What in Sam Hill do you think you're doing? His hand knocked my matches away and then pushed me aside. Let me see, he said. Yep, I can smell gas. There's no gas, and I've got a full tank, he said. He finished pointing his spotlight at the fuel pump. Looky here, Jim. Well, that's what I heard. As he pointed out the missing shaft, no rocker, no gas. Have you got a nail? 8 penny would be nice. I swear he pulled one from his old leather jacket. He pushed it through where the rocker hinges and bent the end sticking out with a rock from a road. Get in and start her, yeah, he said. The engine sprang into life with hardly a grind, and the trucker grinned in my rear view mirror. Get yourself a damn good flashlight and don't ever use matches again. He turned and mounted his 18-wheeler, pulled past me, blinking his light, and I knew without doubt I had been saved by a regular, honest-to-God Lone Ranger. So I'm also billed as Tom Mischief, and the reason I'm billed as Tom Mischief is because in 2005 I found out I was intersex, which explained a whole hell of a lot about my life to me, and that I had some justification for being both male and female instead of just I was weird and was normal. Anyway. Is it my time up? Okay, let me read this one last poem by Lao Tzu. One who has a man's wings and a woman's also is in himself a womb of the world, and being a womb of the world continuously, endlessly gives birth. That's the Tao Te Ching number 828 by Lao Tzu.
And next up, we have the talented and lovely Karen Huff.
Oh, thank you. Well, almost. Politics, as usual. They say people have been disappearing at random. No one knows anything, especially the government officials who are only there to protect you. It isn't safe to go to school anymore or even to work. But we do, anyway. Because a bomb can hit your house as easily as your school, and at least you get to see your friends. Or bring home your pay, but there's nothing in the stores to spend it on. And this is just how it was in El Salvador once, and in Lebanon, and maybe somewhere in Texas, Poland, or Somalia. Did you hear that Hagup's uncle died in Aleppo last week, just walking home from work? And do you think the dictator is some demon who gets reborn at different latitudes? Or is he made from noxious smoke of truth that festers when we fail to protect and nourish it out of convenience? Fortunes. Stepping off the curb at 46th Avenue, wind swirls in small eddies around my feet. Worn plain coats with bicycle on the back ride the whirls, land half-heartedly in the street, face down. I stoop, pick up one only. Walk a block before turning over the King of Hearts, who reveals his position, but not his identity. So when he arrives at my door, I am uncertain whether I am admitting a monarch or a presumptuous stable boy. Nightmare. One night when you whimpered in your sleep, I held you close and whispered, "It's all right, love, it's all right." I dreamed of searching frantically through Victorian attics, root cellars, and hidden passages for 2 simple boxes of good dreams I meant to give to you, but could not find.
All right.
Thank you, Karen. And I think I will read a couple of mine. And then we have one more poet after that, and then the prizes. Okay? Right. It's called Night Orphans. I see them come, the orphans of night. They search for a home they'll never know. The orphans roam in black and white. They wander dark till morning time. I see them run, the orphans on high. They search heaven's zone for wings they'll never own. The orphans take flight most of the time. They wander off in search of light. I hear them hum, the orphans of slight. They search the unknown, feeling lost and all alone. The orphans moan in 3/4 time. The orphans roam in black and white. They wander gray on lonely nights. Shelter. Letters lost in the snow. Few places left to go for shelter from late night storms, struggling to stay warm. On their own in the pre-dawn frost, they wander blindfolded, stumbling without structure or original thought of their own. They huddle up cold, so I keep them close. Protect, screen, and guide them through dreams. House, feed, and keep them mostly clean, but leave them free to roam. These favorite verses, vagabond verbs, transient sentences, homeless words, seeking shelter in any way just to make it to the safety of a poem. roughly limits my 5 minutes, but that's okay. I'll stop here. And I'll move on to our last poet of the evening. Gentleman who's been here before. His name is Kenara, and he will grace us with this wonderful poem.
A place without the Semitic man, a world without fathers affects the outcome of our children's growth. You see, we're needed not in prisons, but instead in our homes, in our schools, in our communities. It is up to us. We must positively show them and teach the children not to be foolish. Equip them, see, our women can't do it all. Slavery, drugs, pistols in the hood was your final call. Another one bites the dust, laid out, stretched out in a line of white chalk. See, that was the plot from the beginning. They never taught that we invented mathematics, science. And furthermore, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, the Greeks, were not the first psychologists. It's a farce created by a group of linologists. But we are gifted, yet we were stolen and sold from Sudan to Egypt, worked from sun up to sundown, from can't see in the morning to can't see at night. Broken backs just to see the tribe fall. Prisons equals plantations. And informed ones know that slavery has shifted. Now, ain't that right? No longer, brothers, can we afford to be MPNIA. In simple terms, it means missing plus not in action. Look how our young children are acting. Instead of reading the book, they're hooked on flavor of love, bullshit shows, Game Boy, PlayStation videos. Education is lacking. Too many of our sons are packing, calling themselves pimp dolls, niggas and bitches, and 12 and 13-year-old boys are screaming about how they Mac is backwards. You know, niggas spell sagging. It's like the mental pilot is on automatic destruction, is what some say. But we cannot start tomorrow or later, greater. We must be right now, right here, today. See, a world without fathers, particularly, is a travesty. Have we become so desensitized, closed mouths and eyes, that we cannot recognize or refuse to realize the catastrophe of our condition globally? Look around sometimes. I say we need another 1,000 Malcolms to speak. Another Mumia, Asata, Erimabo, Khalid, Muhammad, or Muhammad speak. As a matter of fact, multiply that x to the 5th, no, lift that power to the 10th, then divide it into 360 degrees. See, our children need academics, and our male faith, they deserve to see in all sectors. There's got to be. Teach them about Tulsa, Oklahoma. Not too long ago, it was called Black Wall Street. Reach out and understand. Misrepresented, yeah, man, we got to change this stuff ourselves. Where are you, black men? Stand up, African seeds and strands, descendants of the Kemetic land. Stop the violence, mental genocide on the streets. See, another night, another fatherless child cries self to sleep. See, it's time to peep game. Because, see, our ancestors, they got to return over there in their graves after all that they went through. See, it's crazy. See, where are you? See, fathers are the first man in the daughter's life. And part of your role as father depends on the type of wife that they'll make for our sons. Now, don't you think that our situation would have turned out different if Little Africa back in 1921, I regret it, again, in the state of Tulsa, Oklahoma, was never leveled, burned down to the ground? Sounds of government air bomb blasts, mothers screaming for their husbands, children fleeing with their dads. My past has a lot to do with the now and the future. Don't believe the hype. Not every African dad is a loser. See, I can never buy into that. Greenwood Ave and Pine is where it all took place. See, band together is where the Gap Band got its name. Listen to this song and message and dance. And even though Barack Obama is the president, we're still living in a society which is racist, straight out calculating how many prisons to build, filled with us. Done out of jealousy. I said, what about our story? You see, history or his side of the story is seriously missing pages. They have stolen a legacy, replaced it. Now our sons and daughters are being miseducated, purposely enslaving minds. Where are you, Father? Thank you. The sound of your heart beating rhythmically in sync with my thoughts. You see, I felt your pulse as we lay silently wrapped in darkness. And how could this be? Gosh, a queen lying beside me and created from my rib as I have been created from dust, and the touch of my lips to your lips as we kiss the night away. Now embrace your bodies laced with the strength of two pyramids and our souls locked and bound together like closed eyelids. See, each day a different level I try to reach. And it was you, my love, who made me want to go deep from within. See, I've left a woman like God has made tumbleweeds blowing in the wind. in the middle of the road, a stare. I'm gonna watch you glow, and lady, I wanna watch you grow. Come and brighten up my life. See, God only knows your beautiful Coco complex cameo. You know, we hang out together incognito. Listen, I haven't the time for sending subliminal messages. God, can you bless this? And let these words, which sounds like croons, fill the space in your head as though I was singing notes and blowing tunes like Miles Davis. Fellas, that's the moment you should grab and hold your ladies. What you think about that, Slim? See, my game is too tight to be shady, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenora. That was inspiring. That concludes our roster of poets for the evening. We have some wonderful prizes here, which we would like to give out. One of the prizes will be the mini feature for next week. And the mini feature is about approximately 8 minutes set in the second half, where the features normally get 20. So you can expand a little bit more and share a little bit more of your great work. So we will shuffle, get the cards shuffled here. I know there aren't that many people here, but I will ask Cesar, Judith, and Clara, and Judith. So Cesar to shuffle the cards there. And we have wonderful books here, and some maybe not so wonderful. But there's one entitled Life in Russia, which is probably very timely. There's poetry anthologies, Rattle. There's National Geo special edition on water, Sierra magazine, and a couple of National Geographic magazines as well. So, here we go. Our first winner will be number 4. Number 4 is Owen Dunkel. Next up, number 11. That's me. I'm taking myself out. And next one is number 12, and that is Kinara. You are a winner, sir. And you can have any of these. You can also have many features. You have to show up next week. You only good for 1 week. So you will definitely, all right, well, oh, I got to give it back to you. I will put you down here. Okay, but the mini feature will be like the second half, so it'll probably be about 80. Okay? Okay, see you then. All right. Our next winner. Number 3, Lewis Martin. I think Lewis is left. Good. All right, our next winner is our feature. Okay. And that's Sibel? Sibel.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can look up any of these wonderful books here. Okay, sure, thank you. All right, our next winner is number 6, Harold. Harold is gone. Okay, moving number 1, Buford Bunton. All right. All right, our next winner, number 2. Cesar. All right, good choice. Next winner, number 8. Number 8 is Clara Sue. Number 9 is our next winner, and that's Tom. What about? All right, Tom.
especially for somebody
Well,
that
she
you know.
always
and
knew
really
she smoked pot every day her whole life, and she was like, she just,
Oh.
she can like, why did she
Thank you.
take this?
I'll take
And
it.
three
Yeah.
photos,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I know, you know, it's like she owned it, you know.
Well, thank you very much.
So you're very welcome to that.
We also have a new, another contribution, Friends, Well Men and More by Tom Odegaard. So that's another, and number 10 is our next winner, and that is Karen. She's got Tom's one. Okay, you can ask Tom to sign it if you like.
I'll
Right
try to
there.
do something.
And our next winner is number 5, and
You're gonna
Heather.
provide me with a pen.
I can do that.
As a poet, I hardly ever carry one. Now that I have a
As a
computer.
teacher, I always have at least one. She doesn't.
I like to borrow.
Yeah.
Karen, what's your claim? So I didn't do it for them lady.
Oh, well, thank you. The poet.
Well, have a good time reading it.
Yeah.
It's got lots of good
I'm
stuff
not
in
sure,
it.
we're not, I've been walking around with
Most of
that. Let me.
a lot of it is
And like in number 7 or last one, Stephanie Manning is on.
Your name again?
Oh, you already got it.
So all
That's it,
our,
everybody's accounted.
if anyone, all of our prizes have been distributed.
I've been there a couple of
But if anyone,
Yeah.
yes, why don't you,
I saw the
I used to live in, I used to go to Stafford.
Get our oh,
Yeah. Hope you have a good time.
would you like to take one through it?
Yeah, don't let it go either.
I'm gonna go out to the,
Well,
yeah.
how about reading me for us? I'll sign it real quick. AKA now. Miss G. Okay?
Thank you. I want to thank you all for this wonderful evening. Thank you for your contribution, wonderful poetry. And
That's a long time.
see you
I'll try and get
next
back
week,
to it again.
hopefully.
Please leave by the exit.
That's right.
Yeah, I used to live in Oakland.
And please come definitely next week. Cesar will be featured and will be doing a tribute to Carlos.
Lives on,
And Kenara will be the mini feature. Definitely come and
She
be.
lives off Taylor.
All right, great.
That
Thank
little
you.
garden path that goes down alongside the Strawberry Park. You know, it's near Green Street, near the, you know. Dead end at the Anaco Park.
Oh, okay.
And there's a little trail that goes up alongside it that's called Terrace. She lives there. And she ran secretariat schools in Berkeley. So she was in Berkeley and then
It was on.
nights.
We like to walk.
She would come back. She'd take the bus and then she'd take
The liquor store?
She said, I figured, I say, $1,000.
Yeah, I've thought about getting more. I'm still attached to those impulsive things.
Oh, tell me about it.
I mean, I live in the Sunset now, and I get by without one.
Oh, no.
Bye, Tom.
Bye.
Bye, Karen.
Bye-bye.
See you later, Tom.
Nice to see you.
You too, Larry.
You see me.
Thank you. Nice to see you. I haven't
Thanks again.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to get over.
Enjoyed that. Please come back.
Thank you.
I live in Oakland.
Every week.
Every week, this is
Okay.
a week.
Yeah.
Opens a ways away.
Really enjoyed it.
have a look.
Yeah, come back.
Thank you so much.
Take care of your puppy.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
See you, and thanks for dropping by.
Hi, Ellen.
Good night, girl.
Oh, man.
Hi,
Take
Dad.
care, buddy.
Hi,
Good night.
Dad.
Oh.
Thank you.
Taking all the responsibility, Jen.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
Did anybody leave a pen?
Take care. Have a good night. Yeah, nice to meet you.
That was amazing.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Good night.
I enjoyed your performance.
Well, it was so exciting to get a chance to perform. I don't know if that's a dream, so it's really exciting. I'm so honored the band asked me to take care to read. So it's really exciting. I'm thrilled to have a cello player and a cellist. It's great to have music.
What?
To have music is great to accompany.
That's a great touch, yeah.
My college roommate was a cellist. Yeah.
Beautiful instrument. I was very lucky. Yeah, I love poetry, but it's like, I think it enhances it. Yeah. But, it could be, my own thing, but it's fun to have a multimedia component. Kind of multimedia, I think.
Also, like little quick, and there's everything, the dancing, the music, the poetry.
What's your name again?
It is such great, great fun.
Okay, I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, thank you.
The Orphans of Night.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Great. Please check out our website, Word Performances.
Oh.
Website, literary show.
Okay.
Literary show, wordperformances.com.
Wordperformances.com?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's easy to remember.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just check it out. And hope to
I will
see
do
you
that,
all
sure.
at our show. We have a show April 23rd.
Oh, okay.
16th in Mission on April 23rd.
16th and Mission.
Yeah.
Well, basically at the Lost Church on Cap Street, 65 Cap Street, right around the corner.
Oh, okay.
16th in Mission. Right. Oh, I know the.
Not like you go to the bar station.
I was thinking, yeah, I think the
No,
third.
there is that. Like, no, it's not
Really?
that. It's in this really cool
Yeah.
intimate space that's just around the
Beautiful
corner.
theater.
And you never know it's there, and it's just like,
Oh, really?
cool.
Yeah.
Called the Lost Church.
Right.
Oh.
It's like a little David Lynchian theater that's there.
Oh.
Very few people know it.
Yeah.
It's right near the Victoria Theater.
Yeah.
It's just like on Cap Street.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
It's gonna be
Sort
really
of
fun.
just there.
With comedy, storytelling, poetry, prose,
Yeah.
music. So we're getting all the
Excellent,
Oh,
great.
I really love this. It's great. A beautiful space.
Yeah,
There's
yes.
some calm, and nurturing, something about it was really homey,
Yes.
very comforting.
Yes, yeah. Dan does a great job. We really miss him. Just holding down the
Yeah.
voice to
He's a
get
great
that.
man. You know
Yeah.
Dan Barber? Am I saying his last name right?
Brady.
Brady, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Brady.
Ah.
Very nice man. Hope he's
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Lovely
But
gentleman.
he'll be back soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's sick?
Yeah, he had an operation. So he had to go through some.
Great.
He had to go through recovery, and then he had actually a second infection, and they had to clean it out and get another operation.
That's good. Well, nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay, thank you.
Fun.
Take care.
Take care, yeah.
Bye.
Take care, nice to meet you.
Bye-bye
See you,
now.
bye.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I brought a laptop. That's so fun. This is a t-shirt.
I know, that was really good.
Exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, that's some really nice
Thank you so
photos.
So, last.
Okay, my name is. Shall we, yeah, here's. So you want to call? Should I call it better? It's really nice music. Hey, why don't you stay here for 1 second? I'm just gonna hop across the street with that. Okay, well let me call the guard. Like sorry. 2 minutes.
Wow. That's
Igor.
quick.
Igor's coming. I call it Bertha.
That's amazing. 2 minutes. Igor. I haven't heard that from you in a while.
He's, I think Igor.
Wait, can you hear?
Yeah, Igor.
Don't forget your,
Yeah. On our books.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Leaving early.